All right, let's talk about driving in California. You might think you know all the rules, but you're going to want to stick around for this one because some really big changes just kicked in that affect every single driver on the road. So let me just ask you straight up. Are you really following California's driving laws? And I get it, you probably think, yeah, of course I am. But with these new updates, the policy you've had for years might not be enough anymore to keep you legal or, more importantly, to keep you protected. So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the absolute bedrock, which is financial responsibility. Then we'll get into the new numbers, the minimums you have to have. We'll talk about what your duties are if you get into a crash, explore some coverage options beyond the basics, and wrap up by empowering you with your auto repair rights. Okay, first things first, the absolute foundation. It's called financial responsibility, and you can really think of it as the golden rule of driving here. This is the one thing you have to have sorted out before you even turn the key. So, what is financial responsibility? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. It's just your legal duty to prove you can pay for any damage you cause in an accident. The state basically wants to make sure that if you cause a wreck, the other person isn't left holding the bag for all the costs. So, how do you prove it? Well, for 99% of us, it's that little insurance card we keep in our glove box. But, the law does have a few other ways, like a special self-insurance certificate, or making a huge cash deposit with the DMV, or if you're driving an official government vehicle. All right, let's get to the part you really need to pay attention to, the numbers. We're talking about the required minimum coverage. And let me tell you, the stakes just got a whole lot higher. This is probably the biggest update for California drivers in years. For the longest time, this was the number for property damage, $5,000. But think about it. With all the sensors, cameras, and fancy tech in cars today, $5,000 barely covers a fender bender on a new car. It just wasn't cutting it anymore. And that is why, as of January 1st, 2025, that number has tripled. The new minimum for property damage is now $15,000. That's a massive jump, and it's a much more realistic number for the cost of repairs these days. And it wasn't just property damage. Look at this. Bodily injury coverage for one person, it doubled from $15,000 to $30,000. And the total for everyone injured in a single accident also doubled from $30,000 to $60,000. So here's the bottom line. If your policy still has those old limits, you are technically driving uninsured in California right now. Okay, so you've updated your coverage, you're all legal. But what if the worst happens and you're actually in a crash? Let's talk about your duties at the scene. This is your clear, simple checklist for what can be a really stressful moment. When your adrenaline is pumping after an accident, the law keeps it pretty simple. You really only have 3 legal duties right there at the scene. Number 1, stop. 2, exchange key information. And 3, show your proof of financial responsibility. That's it. Just remember, stop, exchange, and show. So what exactly is that key information you need to swap? It's the basics: your name and current address, your driver's license number, your vehicle's VIN number, the address of the car's registered owner if that's not you, and of course your insurance company and policy number. We've covered what the law requires, but meeting the bare minimum isn't always the same as being truly protected, right? So let's talk about going beyond the basics and looking at other coverage options that can really save you. Now, here's a really interesting quirk in California law. Insurance companies are required, they have to, offer you uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. But, and this is the key part, you are allowed to reject it in writing. It's basically the state's way of making sure you at least think about getting this protection. So what is this stuff? Well, uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage is what protects you. If someone with no insurance or not enough insurance hits and injures you or your passengers, this is the coverage that steps in to pay for your medical bills. It's like a shield against other people's irresponsibility. Let's clear up a really common point of confusion these days: carpooling versus driving for hire. Look, if you're in a regular carpool with a coworker just splitting gas money, your personal auto policy probably covers you just fine. But the moment you start driving for a service like Uber or Lyft to make a profit, you're a business. And this is the part you absolutely cannot miss. Your personal policy almost certainly does not cover you. You need a different commercial policy for that. And for our last section, let's talk about something that puts the power back in your hands after a claim: your auto repair rights. This is all about you taking control of the process. Did you even know this thing existed? It's called the Auto Body Repair Consumer Bill of Rights, and by law, your insurance company must give you a copy.
They might give it to you when you first get the policy or after you file a claim, but either way, you're entitled to it.
So what's in this Bill of Rights? Well, number one, and this is a big one, you get to choose the repair shop. Your insurer can suggest shops, but they can't force you to use one. You also have the right to get an itemized estimate, to be told what your towing and rental car coverage is, and you can always go get your own independent estimate. These are your rights. And we just want to give a quick shout out here. All of the detailed legal info and specifics that we went through in this explainer came from the source material provided to us by the experts over at Insurance Schools, Inc. So there you have it, the new laws, your duties in a crash, and your rights when it comes to repairs. We'll just leave you with this one last thought. You know the law now, but does your policy truly protect you? Maybe now's a good time to pull it out of that folder and actually check.